Hey guys, welcome to another Medieval Battle with Midnight Games Online. We're playing Medieval Kingdoms 1212 AD, the free mod for Total War Attila. Today's battle, guys, is a 5-star battle. That's the top score that a replay can achieve. So I hope you guys enjoy this. It's my first time viewing this replay since we played the battle a few weeks ago. This is a 4-on-4 unfortified town assault, so it's kind of like a siege battle, but instead of holding up in a castle with walls and arrow towers and gates, this town has none of those things and no deployables either. So it's kind of got some fences here and there, but big gaps in the defense that the attackers can exploit. So without further ado, let's get into the army compositions, guys. The first faction here we're going to look at will be for the defenders, and again, there are 8 players in this battle. This is the Duchy of Brabant, controlled by Knox, and here is the Duke of Brabant on his horse with his knights. He has a straight-edge sword here, very nice color scheme, nice plume on the helmet, and he's wearing 14th century armor. This is a high-era battle, guys, so only 14th century armored units and 13th century armored units are allowed. No late-era units were allowed. So the Duke of Brabant is here. Let's see what else Brabant has on the field. It's going to be tricky to find all of his units. It looks like we have some dismounted Brabantian knights here. These are the shock cavalry for Brabant, and that is their captain here with the colors of Brabant. Just real cool looking unit here. And these guys with the two-handed weapons. Another unit of dismounted Brabantian knights over here. The knights wearing 14th century armor, and a third unit here. So he has all 3 for this unfortified town, kind of in this area here, which is sort of the victory point, or the most inner part of the town. So that's where his reserves are. So really keeping a lot of his forces in reserve. Here are some dismounted Brabantian knights which are wearing 13th century armor, so a little bit lighter armor for these Brabantian knights, and another unit of those over here. So he does have 2 units of those that we see so far. Pavie spear sergeants for Brabant with the 14th century armor and those very big Pavie's shields. He has 1 unit of Pavie spears here already, and making a testudo type formation on this hill to support his allies. If I could find some more of his units. Here we go. So as you see, guys, there is no gate in these unfortified town assaults. There's just this tiny little hill which the attackers can run over pretty easily, and that goes for really all 3 of the gate sites. And the third one here, open. Just open. This is kind of a rock here, and then you got this little hill on each side. So that is kind of scary, and no arrow towers like I was saying. But for Brabant, he's got these guys kind of holding this hilltop here. The Pavie spear sergeants, as well as these medium polearm infantry. So he has those 2 units there. And I do wonder, no, he doesn't have any more of those that I see. He does have yet another unit of Pavie spears here, so going heavy on the Pavie spears. There were 3 shock infantry max per team, and he did max out on those. I believe 3 shock cavalry as well. Militia bowmen here, so some missile units for Brabant. They're wearing the 14th century armor, so some of the nicer helms and some chainmail. You know, the armor that the bowmen get. And he does bring a trebuchet, that is his artillery unit. More militia bowmen here. They're wearing light 14th century armor. And Brabant with some crossbows here on the ledge. So we can take a good look at these crossbow sergeants, also wearing some lighter 14th century armor for Brabant. Now there is a barricade up. That's the one thing you do get here on these unfortified towns. So there's kind of a hastily erected barricade. And oh, I thought these were Brabant crossbows, but they are not. So that, I believe, is it for the army of Brabant. That looks to be it. So we're going to move on to the next army. This is the Duchy of Lorraine, commanded by yours truly, Knight. We have the general here, the Duke's Foot Guard, so the Knights of the Duke's Foot Bodyguard. And here is the Duke of Lorraine. And he is a scary looking guy. He's got a very, very scary looking two-handed warhammer and some really cool looking knights in his retinue, like this Knight of the Duke's Foot Guard here, wearing 14th century armor with the longsword, two-handed longsword, segmented spalders, cool looking helm, and just really every kind of weapon in this retinue that I see. We saw a knight with a longsword. Here is one with a two-handed axe. You can see it better here from this angle. Here's a guy with some kind of glaive looking weapon, and here's another one. We see the longer pole axe here, and we see another guy with the longsword. So really just every almost two-handed weapon you can think of here in this retinue. And the Duke himself also with a two-handed warhammer. So now we have, so those are the knights of his retinue, and that's the general unit for the Duchy of Lorraine. Moving on, we have the man-at-arms here, 14th century shock infantry unit wearing 14th century armor. And another unit of the men-at-arms, and here is their captain here with the purple plumage. Most of them, though, with the two-handed weapons as well. So we have the general being the shock infantry, and since the general doesn't count, that would have allowed me to have 4 shocks. So we have 3 here, and just looking for, there would be the 4th. So basically 3 of the men-at-arms and then 1 of the Duke's Foot Guard. Now, with this side kind of open here, we do have another unit here holding this. These are the sergeant swordsmen here, holding this entrance to the keep, and we have some of the Brabant's crossbows and also some archers here, the Brabanten archers of the Duchy of Lorraine, 13th century archers wearing 13th century armor here, probably able to shoot over this little ledge and into whoever is trying to attempt at this gate here. But again, back to the center position, we were talking about the general, the shock infantry. There is a trebuchet here too. So that will be the trebuchet for the Duchy of Lorraine. And then these 2 entrances here, which are really the only entrances aside from this barricaded one at the back, if you want to reach the victory point or the inner part of the town here, both of them blocked by Lorraine troops. So we have 14th century Pavese spears here, some heavy spear infantry, and behind them the pikes. So we have the Schiltron militia. These are light pike infantry, but if they're behind the shields of the spears, then they can hold a long time. And behind them we have a bow unit, light bow infantry, the Brabanten archers, wearing very light 13th century armor here. And similar setup here with Pavese shields in front, 14th century Pavese shields, and then some light 14th century pikes behind them, taking advantage of those shields. So that's Lorraine, the setup of Lorraine here, my army. With this big hill here, I did contribute a spear unit here, also in testudo, kind of like this one behind it from Brabant, setting up in a testudo formation here, but stretching it out across almost the entirety of this hill, even into the little trees here. So that is going to be a little roadblock for anyone trying to come up this hill. And we have 1 mounted unit for Lorraine. These are the Knights of Lorraine. And here is their captain with the steel mace and the colors of Lorraine on his shield. And just a cool looking banner here, and very cool looking group of knights wearing 14th century armor. Also, besides holding this tiny little side here, looks like I'm holding most of this wall as well. So there is some archers here, the Brabanten archers, light bow infantry, and some militia crossbows, and more archers here, the Brabantens. So these are really holding the walls here. 3 missile units on the wall, and 2 14th century sword units, some sergeants, basically medium melee sword units here, wearing 14th century armor, but not really the heavy type of armor. So 2 units here. And they are just going to support this spear polearm combination in any sort of attack on this open ramp here, entrance to the city. And there's another unit of Sergeant Swordsman here on the side. So I think that is it for the Army of Lorraine. Let's move on to a third defender. If we can find someone here. So this looks to be the Papal States. These were commanded by Fenrir. So this is the third defender. And his general here is the Hospitaller Bodyguard. So there is the knight leading the Hospitallers right here, wearing very cool Hospitaller color scheme. And he's got the 14th century armor as well, open face sallet. But some of his retinue here with the visors, round shields, very cool. Now let's see what other men here we have. For the Papal States, I'm not sure he has much back here. Maybe really nothing in this inner keep, interestingly enough. Oh. He does have a unit of crossbows, of all things, tucked away here in among these stone formation here. These are the mercenary Genoese crossbows for the Papal States. So they're heavy crossbow units, wearing 14th century armor. They got the big Pavia shields that strap to their backs. So that's kind of it for his inner keep. And as we move out, let's see if he has anything else here. Yeah, so the Papal States holding some of the mid-city here. They do have some medium polearms here, wearing 14th century armor. Polearm unit will be tough to get through in a siege. And here we have some Italian men-at-arms. So there are the heavy melee infantry. Very cool looking unit here, men-at-arms. And his shock cavalry seems to be in the mid-city, or his shock infantry rather, seems to be in the mid-city here. He does have a very Hospitaller heavy army, so these are the dismounted Hospitaller knights wearing the 14th century armor. Very cool looking unit here. Two-handed weapons again for the most of them. And just a massive war armor here on this guy. Second unit here, let's see if he has any more. They may be hard to find all right away. That looks like another unit of his sword infantry here. Italian men-at-arms right here in the front row. And then we do have a massive cav here on the back. So let's see, yeah, the first unit here, kind of ready to ride, almost pouring out of that, down that hill already, are these Hospitaller Knights. So he's, again, Hospitaller heavy army. He does have one unit of Hospitaller Knights here, some extra experience points. And let's see if there's some more. Yes, he does have some more here hidden in this little patch of trees. 2 more units, I believe, of Hospitaller Knights. Yes, 2 more units of Hospitaller Knights. So he went the max of the 3 shock cavalry. And it looks like maybe they're getting ready for something. So they're all hidden from view right now at the start of this battle, and we have paused it. So that's it for the army of the Papal States at Fenrir. Let's go to the 4th and the last defender here. This is Storm of War with the Kingdom of France. Let's try to find his general. Here he is, the Roi de France, the king with the crown on his head, and he has a single-handed battle axe here with the colors of France on his shield, on his horse, and just his King's Guard here. Very, very cool looking unit. 14th century armor. Let's see what else France has back here. He has a unit of spears. Now these are light spear infantry, but they are wearing 14th century light armor. And then he has some medium pole arms here, again wearing 14th century, a bit heavier armor. We can see more steel on them, more plate, elements of the plate mail, down the legs, on the arms a bit. Very, very nice helmets. So that's kind of in the reserves here for France. He does have one unit of dismounted French knights here behind all of these Brabantian knights. These are the French chevaliers, dismounted French knights, most of them with the two-handed axes. It's going to be hard to see their captain here, but I think this is him here. He has a single-handed sword. A little harder to zoom in on him right now. There he is, kind of from the back. Stones are blocking us a bit. So that's it for France's sort of force in the inner keep, really. Just these two units, the Oise de France and then a dismounted shock infantry unit. And let's see when we move into the mid-city what he has here. No units back here. This is his first one, so this is a medium crossbow infantry unit, high era. So they do have some lighter 14th century armor. France's artillery is a trebuchet, so that's right here. And guarding it is another unit of his shock infantry, the dismounted French knights. And here we can see very clearly the captain of this unit, also with a single-handed sword, and the colors of France on his shield. So very nice looking knight unit, and very powerful shock infantry unit. I don't think there's any French. Oh yes, he does have another unit here of crossbows. So French crossbows here. The light crossbow infantry, high era, they are here. High era meaning 14th century. So basically on a bit of a slope here, able to fire over these spears and down at whoever will be threatening this area. And now we do have 3 more French cavalry here, so just a massive cavalry here on this side of the unfortified town. These are the gendarmes. They are 14th century heavy shock cavalry. Second unit here, and a third unit here. And this is where his third shock infantry is hiding, a dismounted French knight unit. And I think it's the only infantry unit here that can kind of hold back here. If the cav were to sally out and or get killed in any way, this is really the only unit that can hold this entrance to the base from here with the support of these crossbows. But the crossbows do need infantry to protect them, so that is a great choice for that unit there, and they do have an experience point added. And I think that is it for France, which is the 4th and last defender. So that's Storm of War. So that's a pretty good team. We have absolutely no new players there. So I was pretty happy with my team, but the other team is really just an all-star team. I mean, we have Bjorn Ironside, Billy the Kid, Litholdus, and the player who only plays this game on Legendary, Nick Omula, or so I'm told. So just a real all-star team of skilled veteran players on the on the other side there. So let's take a look at the first player here. This is the Grand Duchy of Lithuania and is commanded by Litholdus. So his army here actually completely hidden in the woods, it looks like. Although maybe not entirely, because there's some artillery missing, and that is over here. So he has his artillery over here, the artillery of Lithuania, which is a trebuchet with some extra experience points. And I believe the rest of his army is here in the forest. So let's see what he has. There's some Duckle cavalry. Oh wow, there is their captain here with a wooden mace, steel-tipped head there. These are medium shock cavalry. Really like some of these Lithuanian units and their colors here. So he has a unit of the Duckle cavalry, and then he has the unit of Lithuanian knights. These are heavy shock cavalry. So these are the Lithuanian knights. Just a little bit better armored here than the Duckle heavy cavalry. And then After those 2 units of Cav, oh, he has a 3rd unit here, and these are also Lithuanian knights. And then, of course, the general being excluded, sort of a 4th Cav unit for him. The Grand Duke's bodyguard of the High Era. There's the Grand Duke of Lithuania. Love the golden spalders for effect. And the Grand Duke's bodyguard here wearing 14th century armor. Now, for the rest of his army, he has some Duckle heavy crossbows here. They're kind of ducking in the reeds. They're going to be hard to see here in this tall grass. Retinue archers, all 14th century units. More retinue archers, another unit of retinue archers, and we're not going to get a very good look at these guys, unfortunately. He has his heavy melee infantry here, wearing 14th century armor. Kind of see them from the top, but again, ducking in the shrubs here, and just a lot of this Duckle heavy infantry. He does have some spear units, and these may be easier to see. Nope, I was wrong. The Duckle spearmen. So these are heavy spear infantry. And it looks like 4 units of those here in the front. And that about wraps it up for the army of Letholdis. So, again, guys, you can always fast forward the army compositions here and just click in the timestamp in the description, and it'll take you straight to the battle, as with all of our videos. Moving on here, the next player is Bjorn Ironside, and of course he's going to pick a Norse faction. He is the Kingdom of Norway, and these are his Landwehr pikemen. So these have medium pike infantry with some 14th century armor, and look at these pikes. They have little shields attached, so they do have 2 hands on the pike, but they have a little shield attached too, which makes them medium pikes rather than light pike infantry. So that's going to be very tough to get through, and they are here guarding the trebuchet of his ally for now. And Norway's army here, these are the Candlemen, also with those very small shields. Very cool spears, and look like maybe a little longer than the normal 13th century spears are, but they are wearing 13th century armor, so not a very heavy unit. This unit here, a medium melee infantry unit from wearing 14th century armor, just a little bit heavier on the armor. More of those medium melee infantry. So looks like 5 in the middle here, another unit of the cavalrymen on the side. And then for his missiles, he does have Hanseatic infantry, which is a medium crossbow unit, wearing 14th century armor. So these guys may actually be decent in hand-to-hand once they've used all their bolts. Orkney Islanders here, some 14th century bows, wearing the 14th century armor in Norway. 2nd unit over here. So it looks like 4 missiles that I see so far for Norway. Oh, and I think that's still Norway, yep. So some archer sergeants. And then archer sergeants wearing the 13th century armor. So here we see the difference. 13th century armor. Well, there's not too much difference, but I guess better helmets here for the 14th century armor. And then in the back, he does have some warhounds. Also kind of hidden in the trees. You're going to be hard to see, but we can see some of the hounds here. And of course, the dogheads that are controlling the hounds, they do have axes as well that they can use. So that, I think, is it for the army of Norway. Except his artillery, of course. So he does bring, it's a 14th century battle, so you could bring 14th century artillery, and he's decided to do that. That's the bombard. Oh, I think I got a little mixed up. Sorry, this is no longer Norway. No, is it? No, that is not Norway. That's Bohemia. So I'm not sure if Norway has any artillery, or if I totally missed it. Because this is Lithuania's artillery. Yeah, that's interesting. Maybe Bjorn Ironside did not bring any artillery. That is very interesting. Okay, so possibly no artillery for Norway, unless I'm missing it. Moving on now to the Kingdom of Bohemia. This army here is controlled by Billy the Kid. I think the full name is Billy the Kid 17. So we have the Margrave of Moravia here, which is his general. And a very nice looking unit here, straight edge sword, colors of Moravia on his shield, and the knights of his bodyguard. And here we do have some medium melee infantry wearing 13th century armor. So some lighter infantry in this 14th century battle, or high era battle. And we have the same medium melee infantry, but this unit with 14th century armor, so just a little bit better armor here. Another 14th century armored unit for the medium melee infantry. He has some halberds here. So those are going to be tough to get through and just cav killers. A unit of 13th century light spear infantry. Really like the teardrop shields. Some of them, oh no, I think they do have helmets, but just not very good ones. This guy, I think, just has a Santa cap. Yeah, not sure that qualifies as a helm here, guys. So some of them are very poorly armored here. 13th century armor, light spear infantry. And that is his bombard. So that's over here. And he does have more spears. These are the Pavy spearmen wearing 14th century armor, and they have the big Pavy's shields instead of these teardrop shields, which cover almost the full body here. Especially if you crouch down, they do cover the full body. So there's the Bohemian spears. And then he has his knights, the Knights of Bohemia, wearing 14th century armor, 1 unit, 2, and 3. 3 units of those. And in the back, he does have the crossbows here, medium crossbow infantry, wearing some medium 14th century type armor and gambesons here. So that, I think, is it for Bohemia. And that's 2 armies here. Bjorn Ironside with Norway on this wall, as well as Bohemia here. Litholdis on that small little wall here besides his artillery. And finally we have one other player here, the last of the attackers and the 8th player in this game. This is Nick Omula controlling the Empire of Nicaea. So here is his general, the Spatheroy Guard, and it says they are wearing 13th century armor. Very, very cool scale mail, lamellar scale mail armor that Byzantium is famous for. So the Nicaeans here, these are the Spatheroy Guard. I mean, they are wearing 13th century armor, but it is very heavy 13th century armor, almost stacking up to some of the 14th century armor here, the heavier armor sets in this battle. And these are the Spatheroy swords, just an elite Spatheroy Guard sword unit. Very skilled, and their armor, again, some of the best in the 13th century. And here is the swordsman leading them and the general of Nicaea with just a fantastic suit of armor, as well as a set of peacock feathers here on his head. So that's the general for Nicaea. In the back, there is the vaunted Varangian Guard here. Again, the very, very cool lamellar armor of Byzantium, and just all different variations. I mean, his is different than his, is different than his, which is different than his. So, very, very cool. We have 3 units of the Anglo-Varangians here. And then we have the Dynatoi. These are the heavy shock cavalry for Nicaea. And here's their captain. He's got a mace. The rest of the unit has lances. And so that is a unit with 14th century armor, just like the Varangians. But this unit here has 13th century armor, and these are the Cuman Royal Guards. So a lighter, medium shock cavalry unit here, but very cool helms. Really like these Byzantine face masks here, the visors. Very cool. And I do wonder if this was a faceplate or an adjustable visor on this on this guy here. Looks more like a faceplate, but tough to tell. So the Cuman Royal Guards, I think that might be it for his cavalry. He did go heavy on the shock infantry. And looks like he has some pikes here. Again with the shields, so these are 13th century pikes. And he has some 14th century armored spearmen, the Scudetoi spears. They're wearing 14th century armor. They're classified as a medium spear unit. 1, 2, 3, 4 of those. And then in the front row here, he has 4 of these Scudetoi swords. So the Scudetoi sword unit, very cool. Some of them have the curved swords, the scimitar type swords. And they are wearing 14th century armor, but it's more of a medium type armor kit. So 4 units of those. And just the Mordetoi here. These are bow units wearing just very light 13th century style armor. Chainmail we see here on that unit. And how many of these are there? There's a second one, third, and a fourth. Potentially just bringing the 4 units here of the misses. So I think that's it for his army as well. Of course, we see his trebuchet there too. That's his artillery. He does give it an experience point. So guys, I think that's it for the army compositions. And let's get ready for this battle. This 5-star battle here underway, guys. And we can see some cavalry moving out. Yes, they were in a good position to sally, and they do. The Papal States working coordination here, Fenrir, with Storm of War and his 3 units of gendarmes being moved out. We see more Papal States cav here, and they are going to be an isolated player. This player is all alone here. Litholdus already responding with some cav moving. Now we have my 1 unit of knights from the Duchy of Lorraine moving out as well. And this army collapsing here into a little turtle shell formation with these archers being thrown into the middle, the spears being pushed out a little bit.
The enemy has been spotted!
And a charge here, the Dynatoi facing the gendarmes and challenging them. Another charge. But these Cuman Royal Guards, I think, took the worst of that one against the gendarmes. Yes, they did. Down to 45 men already out of 60. And we do have the Knights of Lorraine here circling, looking like they want to flank. And yes, they do. And they hit these Dynatoi. And that's two on 1 here. And a unit of archers taken out here by the gendarmes. Very good charge here, as these Cuman Royal Guards are falling. And we do see 1 unit of Lithuanian Knights very close to the action already. And the attackers sending more. These are some Bohemian Knights on the way too. And this unit here has slaughtered this archer unit and is now in the woods here, the gendarmes. Meanwhile, Nambula here with the Empire of Nicaea just forming everything in a box around his trebuchet. These Knights of Lorraine here, 11 kills. They didn't lose a single man, but they're pulling back already as the enemy cavalry has come in. But instead of pulling back, it looks like the Papal States here, Fenrir, has opted to charge. And there is a trebuchet shot here, possibly a miss. But here he goes. And Lance is down, but they're going up against a unit that's in wedge formation. Big charge. But oh my goodness, that knight was just slashed into pieces by a Bohemian knight, I believe it was. Is that who they're up against? That's actually Norway's knights. And the Bohemians are over here. Yeah, Norwegian knight just cut that Hospitaller down. But the French gendarmes have gone in to help the Knights of the Papal States. Possibly a mistake here by the defenders. More artillery fire though, big hit. Taking out some Lithuanians.
And I do wonder who that was. That is here, this trebuchet over here, the Papal States, with some big shots. So very good work with his trebuchet, but possibly, oh, and another shot over here. That will be and a miss on the second one. France's trebuchet firing away. But now the Papal States here overreaching with these knights and losing a unit. But this amount of French knights that sort of are preparing here at the opening. And another charge. The French. Oh my goodness. The guy we were following just got knocked off his horse. That was a big charge by the rest of this Cuman Royal Guard regiment.
The enemy have rallied their units!
And the Dunkle Heavy Cavalry, Lithuania has arrived on this field. But it looks like nobody wants to face them. As this Hospitaller unit flees, and another unit of Hospitaller Knights has been destroyed. And now we see all of the attacking cavalry here having arrived. And it looks like they've caught them. The Lithuanians are catching these Hospitallers. So just a matter of time before that last unit is surrounded and killed. And some big shots here at these French Chevaliers who have gone into a loose formation to avoid taking too much damage from this trebuchet. Nicaea is furious at what must have been a very stressful opening few moments of the game here. And it looks like Brabant has moved his men behind the cover of the walls. The sergeants here of Lorraine are in the open. And the bombard here with 51
the
kills,
enemy's hidden units.
And it is firing away. Looks like it took out this trebuchet, and is now hitting possibly a second trebuchet. It's going after this unit here, or the pole arms. Trebuchet is firing back. Is it targeting the bombard? Yes, it is. Oh wow! I don't think it took out any cannons, but it did mangle a couple of the crew at least. Yeah, 4 crew members dead. That was an unexpected hit there against really a superior piece of artillery. But it looks like this bombard has already got 62 kills here for Bohemia. And I'm pretty sure that some of them are over here. Well, only 2 of them, but this trebuchet has lost 3 out of 4. This one now being targeted, and it's lost 7 men, but it still has all 4 of its trebuchet units. And yes, finally this cav has been mopped up. So France, I felt Storm of War just stayed out there because his ally was out there, which was, oh, and there's a big shot by France. But almost a miss, but actually ricocheting into these archers, Mortator, killing 3. Yeah, because the Papal States overcommitted, it looks like France followed him and lost a bunch more knights here. My 1 knight unit makes it back here, actually intact. Now these crossbows are firing down.
Which one of you peasants did that?
And some of them taking their toll here, we see. So the defenders firing away from these little walls here. And we do have the Pavy spears ready to defend, but the Varangian guard is here. So the Varangians are going to come up and challenge these spears here. And the big Pavy spears of Brabant are not really holding up to the axis, but a big artillery hit here Only a few men, but big in the sense that it's in our field of vision here. The Varangians are challenging Brabant here. Now, a unit of gendarmes did make it, but takes a big blast from artillery. And they're kind of going for a bit of a flank charge here. Kill some Varangians, and they do get in on some of them.
The walls have fallen! To the breach!
Looks like somebody knocked another hole in the walls here. And that must have been that artillery. So now we have a unit of sergeants here at this breach. And we have these pole arms sort of in position, but not fully yet, to handle this here. And now it looks like a push here by the attackers on this side after they've settled the cavalry situation. We see Norway really pushing up here, but Northern Ironside wasting no time getting the Norwegians into position. And they're making a run for it here. Although some arrows are flitting overhead here, guys, from the defenders. And now it looks like the defenders, we thought we had this blocked off here, but apparently you can run on the sides. You don't have to go in like through a gate. And we did not know that. So here is a unit of sergeants trying to counter that, but it looks like these bows are already in hand-to-hand. So that is very tough. And a costly mistake, and another unit here getting attacked here as a result.
The enemy refuses to admit defeat.
So just chaos
unit has rallied.
down here. This unit kind of trapped in the middle. Maybe a bit shaken because they've been attacking the rear, but they're going to kill as many archers as they can. And already 15 archers hit the ground. Let's enjoy cinematic view, guys, as the sergeants take on the Norwegian infantry. Both units wearing 14th century armor, but not the heaviest armor available. The sergeants of Lorraine on the left, and the Kingdom of Norway, their men here on the slope. And it's interesting who's going to break first, this archer unit cut in melee or this infantry unit here that's surrounded. And we have another sergeant unit trying to plug this gap here. And they do, they charge, but the Norwegians with the counter charge. So we'll see if these crossbows can actually get free now that they're no longer fighting in melee. And this unit sneaking through again and flanking the flanker, trying to. And now it looks like Brabant with some misclicks, moving his men who were set. That crossbow unit getting out. This archer unit will not get out though, now just stuck in so much of this enemy or attacker troops. And it looks like the man-at-arms, the shock infantry for Lorraine is going to try to do yet another flank and hit some of these Norwegians here. Let's get closer to the action. Wow. And just arrows here targeting the shock infantry. But they are doing well against this Norwegian infantry unit. And they are wavering. And some of these bows have gotten sort of out. They still can't escape, but they can maybe at least use their bows now. And we do see them firing some arrows down there. Very good. So this unit with a few, already 30 kills. And it looks like these Norwegian units have been wiped out. And some big trebuchet shots here.
Our men flee the field of battle.
Not sure who that was.
This is a shameful display.
But the knights here, I'm not sure what happened, but it looks like they're coming out of this charge here. Maybe they were trying to fill the breach. And a unit of Lithuanian knights sneaking in. Only 22 men left, though, out of 60.
Enemy units have rallied and returned to the battle.
Kind of getting a decent charge in here on the men-at-arms for the Papal States. And a big unit of Lithuanian knights trying to break through. Trebuchet shot and a direct hit here on the Scudetoi spears. That must have been this one trebuchet, possibly of France. Another shot and a miss. Cavalry here attacking these crossbows who only have 34 kills. And it looks like this side now being threatened. We do have archers firing down. We're beginning to. There we go. They're firing down here. Now the sword unit is the only unit here that can hold as their backup. The shock infantry ran in over here. And finally, this area is contained, but at what cost, guys? All these bodies lying around. This archer unit now after 46 kills, just over half a unit, doing a good job on the wall here. This breach contained by pole arms, a weakened pole arm unit, down to almost a third, and a sword infantry unit. So a big battle, guys, breaking out. The attackers pressing from all sides after a crazy opening with that cav sally by the defenders. Too bad we didn't see
broken and running for their lives.
Knight unit, my only knight unit, and how many men had killed here on the charge before it was taken off the field. But there's a lot we won't get to see in an 8-player battle, but there's more that we can see, and hopefully we get the good moments. Here is a spear unit charging, and they may be trying to flank these sergeants, and there's really nothing that can stop them except possibly the shock. But these bows with 50 kills have now been flanked again, and that looks like that will probably be it for them.
Our men have rallied.
You have some troops rallying on the side here. This unit of bows is still on the wall, but they've been told to use their last arrow. So they're going to fire until they can fire no more. Already with 37 kills. And just over 2/3 of a unit left. But this wall is slowly falling apart here, guys. The defender's still trying to make it happen. And this shock infantry is charging in against Norway, but taking some loss in doing so. So a big charge there, guys.
Enemy units have returned to the battle.
With the Duchy of Lorraine, man-at-arms on the left, and the Kingdom of Norway, infantry on the right. But it looks like a flanking move back here.
A unit is running from the enemy.
Meanwhile, over here we do have that unit of sergeants holding for now against the Lithuanian 14th century spears. Looks like they were charged into this kind of pit/hill area. These spears are now wavering. The swordsman with 32 kills, only 20 men lost, 22 men lost, as they try to break this unit and hold this wall over here. These archers were providing some cover fire, 13 kills for that group of
Our men
archers.
have given up and are running for their lives.
But the shock infantry has broken after 118 kills. They may yet rally, but there's only 35 men left there. One unit of Pavi's spears here, half a unit really, all surrounded now, just like these sergeants here. So this entire wall is just moments away from breaking and letting the attackers in. Now the Papal States here, Fandria, are realizing this and pulling these dismounted hospitalers away because there's no point losing an elite unit to a lost cause here. On this side, though, after all that cav madness, defenders do hold. They're pulling these Hospitallers out, badly tired and damaged unit, in order for the spears and these fresh men-at-arms to fight these Varangians here. The Varangians do charge the remnants of this French knight unit. French knights against Varangians, guys. Varangians favoring the two-handed weapons, and a big kill there for Varangian guardsmen. French favoring a single-handed weapon and a shield. Very fun to watch in cinematic view. Oh, and this was actually a man-at-arms unit for the Papal States. That French knight unit might have been already fleeing over here. The Hospitallers are over here though for the Papal States. So the wall's now threatened on this side as well, and completely overrun on this side, guys. No surprise. The defenders still holding here, breaking a bunch of units, surprisingly enough. And these are 14th century armored units, ducal heavy infantry. 2 units have broken, and I believe there was a spear unit that broke as well. So this unit with a hill advantage, 67 kills, but breaking a lot of units here. Cover fire being provided by bows, 27 kills here, 9 here, so that helps. But these Norwegian cavalry are going to try to finish them off.
Enemy units have rallied and returned
And they
to the
do,
battle.
wow! Just a big charge down this steep hill. And that will wipe that unit out, and this second wall here, or really sort of gate area, and that's, I guess, what was taking out these units. Big artillery fire. That was some big artillery fire. And yes, that is the trebuchet of Lorraine here with a big hit. And 170 kills already, so that for sure was what took out some of these other units. That sergeant unit had barely 60 odd kills. But to take out 3 units like that. Now, however, we do have Latholda sneaking his trebuchet up here and firing away, taking out 2 of the trebuchets for the Duchy of Lorraine here. So after a very great start for this trebuchet, it's now down to half a unit. The Roi de France is here in the field of fire as well. And more trebuchet bolts firing here and landing among the Knights of Brabant. The attackers are pushing up here and using some crossbows to fire away here. Now this trebuchet firing back. Now it looked like a hit, but it's a miss. And a second one as well. The Duke of Brabant here taking cover as well. More fire incoming here. And the attackers are pushing here on the side. One unit sneaking through past the Pavese unit, but it's fighting a trebuchet crew now. And for some reason, Knox with Brabant has taken his men off the barricade here. They were not doing well though. They only had 3 kills. Maybe just some misclicking here, because from the barricade that unit should be just tearing through the attackers with the amount of cover the barricade gives you and the amount of safety and protection. You can't be charged if you're on a barricade. The defenders somehow holding this side here.
To admit defeat.
Nicaea just damaged from that initial cav sally and just unable to press through. And And a lot of their men now continually taking missile fire here. And he tries to charge his Cuban Royal Guards, but they're just taken out by these crossbows here. And these crossbows with a lot of kills here, 231 kills, 174 kills with some ammo remaining here for the French, 81 kills for the Papal States. So crossbows doing big damage here and just wiping out most of Nicaea's army. He's now taking what he has left and joining up with Lithuania's push here, since they're already in the base. Figures he doesn't have to face all those walls. Now only one trebuchet left over here for my end of things, but I have managed to take out 2 of Letholus's trebuchets. So they're still firing away here. And it looks like this last unit taking out half a trebuchet unit on its own and killing 16 of their crew. So they're now pushing up the hill to try to just get out of the range of those last 2. They're not really worth firing at anymore since they have so little ammo. Another shot trying to take out that trebuchet, and a miss, if only just. Another miss. This trebuchet climbing the hill trying to get out of that firing range. It looks like that might just happen. Now, there's no one on this barricade, so they're just going to hack it apart. But a lot of archer fire
trying to take out our general. Defend
crossing over here. Now, these archers firing away. We can see those arrows fly. And this trebuchet is still being targeted. And unfortunately, some of these shocks are being hit. 2 of these men-at-arms have died. And my trebuchet firing away here. And a big hit with just one single trebuchet. Burning 2 of these spear units and causing one to break. That's the beauty of the trebuchet. We get a bunch of kills as I did here.
Enemy
also
units
damage the
have rallied
morale
and return to
of
the
the
battle.
survivors. Now this unit in Testudo already being hit by some arrows, but for now all of the men are surviving. And this trebuchet just trying to kill mine. But there's another shot at the trebuchet Lorraine and a miss. And for now, it is still alive with 26 crew. So way more than you need to work just a single trebuchet.
Braybat now trying to hold this gap here that has flooded through. That has pushed through here. And a shot overhead by the Trebuchet Lorraine into some clumped archers. They are in loose formation, but they're overlapping each other. So they're, in a way, they're a little clumped. And a big shot there and a hit with 226 kills now. Trebuchet Lorraine. Now it looks like Bohemia has sent some cav here to threaten this entrance point. Once you do run the cav in, then they can go from both sides. And Nicaea has left 2 of their units here as well. So that is preventing the defenders from completely clearing this out, but they are starting to send some units back since this is not a very big force. Some of these crossbows are moving up, the ones with more ammunition. The defenders over here trying to hold Brabant with his Pobby's spearmen trying to hold here against Norway and their Candlemen. Big trebuchet shot here. Only a partial hit on this crossbow unit. That is still the trebuchet Lorraine, 248 kills here. Trebuchet of France has 66 kills, and it's all destroyed. They don't have any more trebuchets left. I do wonder if the defenders have any other artillery left. France's trebuchet is destroyed. And I think I saw another trebuchet crew running in here. I think it may just, oh, here's one more. Yeah, the Papal States, 151 kills, running low on ammo already. Here's a shot from Lorraine. And a nice big hit here. Catching the edges of 2 units. And up to 257 kills. And remember, this is not 4 trebuchets firing, it's just the 1 that's left for Lorraine. Papal States here have 3 more shots left, but they're using 4 trebuchets at a time. And 7 shots left here, or maybe just over that for Lorraine. Archer unit that has used all of its arrows, and they're only 13th century steel here, so they've only got 37 kills to show for it. But still, about 70% of this archer unit left. And they can at least now fight it hand to hand, perhaps get a few more kills, and perhaps slow down these attackers. Looks like the attackers here with, I think that's Bohemia. Bohemia sneaking some spears through. And we have the Roi de France. He's going to challenge them by the looks of it. Or maybe not. Yes, he is. He is going to go for it, guys. Roi de France. Storm aboard with the charge into some spears. And just crashing into them, knocking men down. And that unit wavering already. And he's pulling out. He should really charge first and then pull out. It doesn't look like that'll make a difference because their morale was so low they just broke. And he gets out with no men lost, although he is being shelled by arrows here by the attackers. So a great move by the king and his king's guard here for France. These archers have been thrown into hand-to-hand already with 3 kills, but they're not going to do too well against all this infantry. Just a fantastic battle so far, guys. Hope you're enjoying it. The attackers with over 7.7 thousand men at the start of the battle, and the defenders with only 6.3 thousand. Now the defenders with 3,500, the attackers with 4,100. So the numbers are much closer now. Only a 600-man difference. Before it was 1,400.
The enemy refuses to admit defeat. Their unit has rallied.
So the defenders, for now, have closed the gap a little. But is it enough? And will those cav units, those expensive cav units lost here in the forest by the Papal States and France trying to help him, be costly? We have archers here off this hill in the inner city. Oh, and here's a shot from the remaining defender trebuchet and a big hit on some pole arms of Bohemia. Billy the Kid is not going to be liking that one. And that is Fenrir and his trebuchet up to 196 kills now. And the trebuchet of Letholdus out of ammo, so his men are here as well. 51 kills, and he did take out 3 out of my 4 trebuchets. He lost 2 in the process. A lot of ammo. I do wonder if there's any more artillery here for the attackers, or if that's out too.
Our men have given up and are running for their lives.
Doesn't really look like. And here is the artillery of Lorraine with the big shot. And a nice crashing hit here on the corner of this unit. 14th century armor. 5 men killed. 6 men killed, looks like. Yes, 6. He's down 114.
But again, it would be more damage if there were 4 trebuchets here instead of 1. So now 263 kills over here.
The men are running! Stand and fight, damn you!
And despite all that artillery fire from earlier to the top of this hill, the Duke's Foot Guard is at full health. Same with this unit of heavy shock infantry men-at-arms. This unit with 2 men down, still 118 out of 120. The French Knights here, 120 out of 120. The Brabant Knights, 120 out of 120. These Brabant Knights, only 113 out of 120. Looks like they might be getting shot at by some arrows here without really knowing. These archers are just blindly firing over, and they are hitting these Brabantian Knights. And already down to... Yes, they're getting hit. You see that volley of arrow here, guys. And these knights with 2-handed weapons and no shields. Despite their great armor, they will take losses here. So it's going to be a... Well, we don't know how long, but a little while before... Oh, and a big shot here before Knox realizes he's getting hit. Looked like it was going to be a miss, but it does catch the edge of at least this archer unit here. Trebuchet up to 275 kills here. 198 kills for the Papal States, and they fire away here. Fenrir with a shot. And he does catch some men that were moving through it. Not a big hit, but up to 207 now. So very good work from his end. And at this point, it looks like some of these units should be being pulled back here. He's got 3 infantry units holding this this gap here, and a unit of crossbows that has maybe 1 shot left.
Enemy forces have destroyed an entire unit.
So some of these units should be pulled back. I would pull these men-at-arms back for the Papal States, both units, and then leave these pole arms here. Since there is no archers here, no missile units, and the pole arms can handle whatever comes at them, whether it's infantry or cavalry. But the mid-city here lost. 1 last unit firing away. And a big shot here by artillery, doing some damage. I believe, yes, that was Lorraine here with 311 kills. Now big shot, flipping the edge of several units, and some of them do break. Now a lot of those, to be fair, are just archers that ran out of ammo and are being thrown in. And this unit here being pulled out of the mid-city, 13th century armored Brabant Knights. And instead of pulling out the infantry, he pulls out the pole arms, which now opens these infantry up to a cav charge. He's just running now. He's running everything. So it'll be just a question of, does Bohemia see this in time or not? Nicaea has seen it and is moving in, but he's got the infantry. It matters if Bohemia sees it. A shot here by the Papal States, and he hits his own unit. Possibly clipping a horseman or 2, but really his own unit here, yes. Minus morale damage here. And now Bohemia sees it. Now he sees it, and he's moving in here. The Kingdom of Bohemia. And now Papal States is reacting probably too late here. With his pole arms, they're too far away, and these infantry are going to get charged and just roll over to the ground. And a big crushing charge here, shaking this unit and killing half of it. No, 2/3, and it's now wavering. And the pole arms here are now being thrown in here, and now they're compromised. At least this crossbow unit may get out, but it looks like that won't happen either. Oh, it might. They only have 1 shot left, though. Artillery fire overhead, guys.
And running for their lives.
This battle, just insane. Things happening on all sides here. Hard to know where to focus, and the inner keep now getting assaulted here by these Bohemian infantry here. The Pavis, Spears of Lorraine, holding in testudo formation. as the Shiltron militia are shaken. They've just lost too much to enemy fire. This polearm unit, they're trying to save it here. The Duke of Brabant working with the Papal States to try to save that polearm unit. But a charge in the back here. Norwegian heavy shock cavalry with a big charge here. Taking out some dismounted Brabantian knights. And now the foot knights of Norway are here. And the cav charging again. Nope, they're going to pull back here. They saw the unit was in shield wall. But this unit with 13th century armor is going up against some Norwegian foot knights with 14th century armor and 2 heavy weapons, and they're just going to chomp through this unit.
Running, cowards!
With the inferior armor. So this unit now not going to last. The polearms may have been saved here. Now a big shot and a gigantic hit here by the artillery here, by the trebuchet of Lorraine. Just a huge hit, guys. Taking out a massive amount of men. And these are pikes and 14th century swords. Swordsmen with 14th century armor are very expensive units here. Papal States firing at a farther target and hitting the foot knights of Norway. 20 kills there. Big hits by the defender artillery. That's what they need right now, since they're still down a few men. And another shot by Lorraine. And only a couple men go down.
The enemy have rallied their units.
Lorraine, due to this gigantic hit here in the middle, we can still see the bloodstains and the bodies just burn here. Up to 412 kills. The Papal States with 233, but they still have all 4 of their trebuchets, although they are all running low on ammo now. Duke's Guard here looks like they were maybe shelled by some arrows a little bit. Still at 120 men, full health. Same with this unit of shock infantry. Now here we have some pikes moving in and trying to take on this formation that's in Testudo, but they have pikes at their backs too. And those pikes will be engaged here, and we have a pike battle. So just a big pike battle, guys. Just enjoy the cinematic view. Arrows splitting overhead. And we may have missed another crushing hit here. Oh, kind of crushed both sides with that one. I wonder who that was. This pike unit now being focus fired by archers, and it may melt away. Big shot here.
The men have thrown
That
down
looked
their
like it was
weapons and are
Lorraine,
fleeing.
and a big hit here on these 14th century swords, just taking so much punishment, so many deaths. Only 34 men left out of 120. Let's take a look. Yes, Lorraine with that hit now, 475. So some good work by that trebuchet here. 2 units breaking. The foot knights are pulling back. And we have polearms being moved forward. The Spatheroy Guard here, hidden in these woods, but they were in a very clear open line of sight as they were moving in here, guys. Looks like Lorraine with another shot. And a big hit on 2 units that were overlapping even just for a second here. Foot knights going down just in a burning pile of rubble here, as well as looks like these spears with 15 men lost. And up to 505, so that was 20 kills in that one shot. The Papal States with an even bigger shot into cavalry here, causing the Bohemian Knights to waver. So big artillery shots from both the defending artilleries. And these units, these archers that are out of ammo. Oh my goodness. Another shot here. Nothing doing for now. These archers that are out of ammo have been thrown in here, as well as a unit of very depleted spears. Now this is Lorraine again, I believe, firing
Enemy units have been rallied.
and clipping the back of this Bathory Guard unit. Now it looked like that was Lorraine and 505 kills. Maybe it was the Papal States, I'm not sure. They have 283 kills. But this general down 101 men, so they did lose some men in the forest here. And he was hidden, but the entire march into this tree, we could see him. So he wasn't as hidden as they thought. Now really there's only this entrance here on the back, which these crossbows are holding, has a very nice barricade.
The men are broken and running for their lives.
And besides this one entrance, the barricade is undamaged, which France's crossbows are holding. There's only these two entrances here. This one over here, choke point into the inner keep area, and this choke point over here. Another shot overhead, another big crushing hit against the defenders, and these single shots I do believe are coming from the single trebuchet of Lorraine. And 561 kills, guys. That's 56 kills with this one shot for Lorraine. Just a huge shot, and really that's what the defenders need, because it looks like they're still down on men. Yeah, still down by about 560 or 70 men. And the attackers here just pushing with missiles. Lorraine's trebuchet with another shot, but a bit less of a hit on that one. And the attackers here just firing, very happy to take part in this missile war here, firing away with crossbows and sending more bolts up the hill. Crossbows with excellent armor-piercing damage, guys. Papal States may have just one shot left in his trebuchet. Lorraine on my trebuchet with a few shots left still. But some reserves being pushed up here to hold the line here, being shelled by arrows though, and as well as men over here too. These men in shield wall. But the crossbows, if they do focus them, it would be tough to survive that, even in shield wall. We have a depleted unit of poppy spears just taking on these retinue archers. And we have a fresh unit of poppy spears here, somewhat fresh, here at Testudo behind them, as the backup option to sort of hold this little narrow choke point. Looks like the Papal States does not want to use his last shot just yet. It may be his second last shot, I'm not sure. Maybe the very last one. They're getting ready to do that. Now Unit Spears is broken because we do have some foot right there. The Norwegian foot knights now being thrown in on top of this archer unit. So from the left we see Norwegian dismounted knights. Every man with that two-handed weapon on the left here, this guy, are Norwegian knights, and they're taking on these poppy spears now, the second row of poppy spears. And we're going to join cinematic view, guys. But a big shot here overhead, wiping out the archer unit and doing a little bit of damage to that knight unit. Was that? No, he still has his one shot. That was Lorraine. Now 609 kills, guys. So a very good game by my one trebuchet. These knights look proving too much for this spear unit, and it is wavering and now breaking. And still 101 foot knights left. They do have 184 kills already. Lorraine with another shot. And a big hit here, guys. Crushing hit. Killing 9 knights and many more archers now. the trebuchet crew of France being thrown in as the defenders scramble to try to find something to fill this breach here. This trebuchet crew is not going to last even against a wavering archer unit. But the Duke of Brabant with a charge, and he's going to be met by some charging cavalry here. I think he was going for those retreating knights. He's going to try to pull back, and he will lose men doing this. Not a smart charge here. From a full unit of 38, Duke's Guard, he's gone down to 27 knights in his retinue. But at least the defenders have managed to plug this gap here. The Knights of Brabant, this unit of 112, they lost 8 to that archer fire, has kind of managed to block off this most narrow choke point. And the French Trev crew with a few kills, and they're still alive here. It's a dismounted French Knights, full fresh unit of 120 here in the back. And the Papal States with a shot and a miss. It's kind of shooting one at a time now. Both trebuchets left in this game very low on ammunition. And he's still at 283 kills. Now this looks to be possibly a cav charge up the hill. With less than 20 minutes left, guys. Charging into an infantry unit that was in shield wall. Shot overhead coming down. And not sure what we got there, but maybe actually some friendly fire. A couple of men in that front row. This knight unit getting away with 54 men out of 60. And due to this just massive amount of attacking missiles here, we have Norway, Bjorn Ironside with these Hanseatic infantry laying down fire here, both with over 100 kills, and still maybe 10% of their ammo left. The defending shock has pulled back so that some of their missiles can help from the hilltop. But more shafts being sent forward by the attackers. 18 minutes left, guys, and the defenders are really constricting now, just trying to protect this hilltop. Barricade is not really being threatened, so actually they've pulled the French crossbows here too, ready to go back if needed. And all the elite troops still on this hilltop. The attackers trying to use some of their missiles here before going all in. We do have some elite dogs heads here still in the woods here. I don't know if they're being forgotten about or if they were just sort of being hidden from view. And now the general here for Nicaea, as well as the remaining Varangian unit, trying to sneak around the edge here, but the attackers do see and are already responding here. Dismounted Brabantian Knights setting up a defensive position here, and looks like the French crossbows are going to try to take this barricade. There's so few of them though, 35, so a second unit is going to come up here, 86 of these men, and they are going to be ready just in case the Nicaeans try to push this way. And this unit wavering just under arrow fire. Just arrow fire. Crossbows here, they don't have a perfect line of sight, even though they do have the hill, and they're sort of obstructed here. And that is often the problem with crossbows, but now they get a better line of sight, and it looks like they're going to send some... Yeah, they're going to fire away here at this crossbow unit, try to kill some of them. But the defender's pulling back completely, and leaving these two choke points here and here, and just pulling all back into one. Although I don't know if these have realized it yet. These spears, I mean, there's only 42 of them, and they're shaken, but they should be retreating behind this line here. And this unit of the Papal States realizes, but he's breaking the cav with a charge, and I'm not quite sure what he was charging at, but it looks like he did break both of these units that were already very low here. So Billy the Kid with a good charge all in all. The shock is going to make him pay for it though. Lost about half that knight unit almost. Yeah, actually fully half of that knight unit with the shock infantry charge. These 13th century armored Brabantian soldiers are holding this line, and the shock are going to duck behind it. The archers are charging in here. And they're gonna flee. But this massive push here, massive push with 15 minutes left, guys. The attackers throwing in archers, trebuchet crew, foot knights, and melee swords with 14th century armor. Everything charging in. These crossbows, I think, accidentally being pulled back. Now Lorraine with a big shot and a gigantic hit here, taking out a huge chunk of this central foot knight unit, guys. Just bodies burning on the ground here, and just splattered blood and down foot knights here. So a huge hit, and we've gone from 625 kills to 651. So 26 foot knights,
the men are losing hope.
Killed. But this crossbow unit, a big mistake by me, left out. Now the man-at-arms here from Lorraine charging in. So some shock infantry now involved, closing this gap. And we have these shock being pulled back, and these regular soldiers and archers here, they're going to take the brunt of this shock charge. Pikes being pushed in. But they were involved in hand-to-hand before they could get set. So they're taking some casualties. This pike unit with big casualties here. And was that the last shot? No, that was probably the Papal States with a hit here. And he's got from 283 to 305 kills. So 22 men killed in that shot. Everything here holding this one line, guys. This last line of defense. And the barricades now from the back are being hit. And just, Varangians being shot in the face by crossbows at point blank range, and they're wavering. Barricades still at 2/3 strength. And they do break. And they're still being gunned down so they don't rally. Oh, just brutal with no shields. These Varangians just absolutely annihilated by this crossbow unit. Great work here by the Papal States. This unit with 305 kills now, out of ammo, maybe with one volley left. 12 minutes left, guys, in this crazy 4-on-4 unfortified town assault battle. The men-at-arms taking on the foot knights of Norway here, a dead even battle. Now the Spatheroy Guard here, the general from Nicaea says, you know what, 12 minutes left in the game, it's time I move in. And a big charge from the side by the King of Norway, who's wearing very light chainmail, 13th century armor here, but his charge has shaken these men-at-arms, and a gigantic trebuchet hit
down
here.
their weapons and are fleeing.
And I'm not sure who that was. That might have been the Papal States again. 320 kills now. Could have been Lorraine too, because there were 2 shots with 681. But just a massive fight here. And the general for Nicaea, with only 70 men left in his retinue, he's got 27 kills. That unit's name. And a shot by the trebuchet of Lorraine. And a good hit here. Good hit, taking out some pikes, and now they are wavering. Some spearmen as well, wavering. I'm not sure if these halberds were clipped too. The Spatheroy Guard here look like they want to charge, and the Duke's Guard is going to charge. And here we go, general on general. The Duke's Guard with the 14th century armor and a fully healthy unit.
Our ally has fled. We are
Let's
abandoned.
enjoy cinematic view, guys. Big charge by the General Lorraine. The General of Nicaea as well, and hand very brave to go up against such a fresh and heavily armed unit. And now with 725 kills, the Trebuchet of Lorraine just trying to get a better position. 345 kills for the Papal States, so just very good numbers here, earning 3 chevrons, throwing that unit into hand-to-hand. Now the Duke's Foot Guard here making up the main sort of center of this defensive position. 10 minutes left in the game, guys. The balance of power very close. 960 allies for the defenders against 1,420 for the attackers. The attackers with a definite edge. And causing a lot of breaking here, so this Duke's Foot Guard will pull back. And let's see if the men-at-arms set up for charge. And they do brace, but the shock cav hits them regardless and sends some of them flying. But with a brace like that, I think they're going to take some of these shock cav out as they try to pull out. Yes, they do, 16, and now they're wavering. But the general with the charge, big charge against this brace unit, the Margrave of Moravia, that's effective. And he does get some kills on the charge, so very, very brave charger. He loses 8 men trying to pull out. "32 kills for the Duke's Foot Guard, but 50 men lost." And I wonder if that general for Nicaea, maybe I missed it, is now dead. He's now off the field. Now the crossbows have been pulled out. They don't have any more ammo, so this back door is going to be threatened here. 91 damage. This amount of Brave Knights, they can't do anything for now. They can only wait. Crossbow unit
flee the
breaks.
field of battle. This is a shameful display.
And a shot, the last shot for Lorraine. And only maybe 1 or 2 units there clipped, so a miss. It was trying to hit this, score a great money shot against this unit of dogheads. But now this unit, 732 kills, so it looks like maybe 7 kills on that shot, is ready for hand-to-hand. They have a silver chevron now. And back here we have Brabant in hand-to-hand against the Ducal Infantry. So let's take a look, guys, as the Knights of Brabant take on 2 units of Lithuanian infantry wearing 14th century armor. And these Knights of Brabant also wearing 14th century armor. Here's their captain action. We found him with a shield and a straight-edge single-handed sword. And sort of an unfortunate looking charge, trying to charge through his own unit, was the Duke of Brabant. Very ineffective. But the Knights of Brabant are now back in hand-to-hand here. All 4 generals alive for the defenders. I do think that the Spatheroy Guard, though, has been taken off the field, so only 3 alive for the attackers, as the Nicaean general is gone. Six minutes left, guys. Can the defenders hold for 6 minutes? They have all 4 of their generals alive. This back door, the Brabantian Knights look like they're going to handle it. Although anything is possible. It's basically a unit and a half back here taking on almost a full unit of Brabantian Knights. And a big charge here. Oh, the dismounted Brabantian Knights taking big losses here. Not in a brace formation, and that was the King's bodyguard. The King of Norway. Looks like they did kill a few of them on the return. And the Roi de France with a charge with some Dunkle spears. That was, yeah, big charge. Definitely took down a bunch of them. But very, very risky. And losing too many of his own men on that charge. And the Dogheads just wreaking havoc with these hounds. Still, these heavy mercenary Genoese crossbows. And the dismounted Hospitallers in the Papal States caught sleeping, caught watching the fight in front of them, and they are charged. And one of their biggest bonuses is the charge that they can give out. But they sort of just stood there and took it, and now they're hand-to-hand, they're deadly in hand-to-hand, but they didn't get their charge off. So that could be a difference too. And the Brabantian Knights as well, charged by spearmen. They don't get their charge off. Perhaps they were in a brace formation. The Duke of Brabant looking for opportunities, but finding none for a charge. Trebuchet crew being thrown in here, but they will die quickly against polearms. Managed to score a kill in hand-to-hand here, but most of them already dead. And the Duke's Foot Guard has decided to join the fight a second time here.
We are losing ground.
They do have 39 kills, and they're in the fight again. 101 of the Duke's Foot Guard.
Men are wavering.
And we're going to see this in cinematic view, guys. The final push for the center of the city.
The men are broken and running for their lives.
And we do have a break here. I think that was the Trebuchet crew. The rest of these men-at-arms, shocking, have been thrown in here. The General of Norway looking for a side charge with 3.5 minutes left and managing to topple a few of the Duke's Guard, maybe 4 or 5 men. Pulling out rather unscathed. The back here with the Knights of Brabant, no problem taking out this Dunkle infantry here. But 3 minutes left and change. And Brabant just not really
Our men flee the
knowing
field of battle.
where to charge.
This is a shameful display.
Charging into the back of his own troops and his allies. The Hospitaller Knights with a good charge here. And they're going to cut through some Hanseatic infantry in short order. Hospitallers on the right of the screen here. And we see a charge into the back of their own men now by the attackers. So both sides frustrated, looking for opportunities for their camp to charge, finding none. And a big cav charge here on the back. Hospitaller bodyguard has charged the Grand Duke of Lithuania. But it looks like the Grand Duke of Lithuania with more men. Maybe this infantry unit that was fleeing got in the way here of one of them. Possibly of the defenders here charging downhill, they should have an advantage. The Roi de France though, all 3 generals in the back here, just kind of watching. They can't charge into the back of the Grand Duke, but Brabant has no problem trying to do that. And he charges into the back of this ally here. The Grand Duke is now being held by the Margrave of Moravia. So a big general battle here in the back, guys, as that battle happens in the front. So let's enjoy cinematic view real quickly. As 4 generals and their bodyguards
Allies have lost their general. They are shaken.
Fighting. And we do have one that's dead. Yes, the Papal States general fallen on the field. That's the 2nd general dead in this battle, guys. And just a massive push here by the attackers. Everything they have 1 minute and 20 seconds left to take the center of this city. And the Duke's foot guard here with 115 kills already. Still over half a unit left. Just covered in blood. Oh, and another kill there against Lithuanian spearmen. And down here we have more action as the Hospitallers try to stay in the fight against this massive push by the attackers. 48 seconds left. And in the back, it looks like this, finally, the Roi de France with a charge that actually hits. But the Duke of Brabant now, off the field as well, he has fallen. And it looks like in rapid succession, the defenders may lose 3 generals in rapid succession here. If the Roi de France falls as well, he is shaken already and surrounded. Now he's wavering. That is no good, guys. 12 seconds left. 10 seconds left in this battle. And all sides, the
Our men are
breaks.
wavering.
5 seconds and a break here in the center.
Our ally has been destroyed.
4 seconds left, guys. We have a loss for the defenders. The dream team, the attackers, pulling that win out. Wow. I gotta say, guys, this one hurts. This one hurts. I thought we had this in the bag when I saw 10 seconds left. But just a chain route at the end, the morale too low, and that's what happens in real life. Sometimes the men run away. Valiant defeat, very close battle, guys. Just down to the wire. But with a buzzer beater, the attackers do pull it off. So let's take a quick look at some of these stats here. So the Duchy of Lorraine, that was my army here with 141 men left at the end of the battle, but everyone broken. The Duke's Guard, 143 kills, and they did still have men remaining. Although, like I said, with 4 seconds left, they did break. We have 128 kills for this unit of high-era shock infantry, the men-at-arms. So very good numbers. 67 kind of poor numbers on this unit, but again, good numbers here, 118. And then the spear infantry, so these are some of the high-era Pavie spears, good numbers here, 77, and then poor numbers on these 2 units, pretty much with a lot of arrow fire, taking out a lot of them from range. Only 17 on this pike unit and 0, so the pike's definitely neutralized here, mostly by arrows. Some of the infantry doing pretty good, 105, 74, and then kind of weaker numbers here on this unit, 51, and back up to 73. The missile units, not too bad. You know, they weren't too bad considering they were all early era units and they were up against a lot of high era or 14th century armored units. Not too bad, but definitely could have done better. And some of them caught at the very beginning of the battle, losing half a unit or 2/3 of a unit when the attackers flanked through those hills. We weren't sure how to defend those hills playing this type of battle for the first time. So 64 kills for this unit, 51, 52, 55, and then 73 for the crossbow, so better there. And then this unit, the Knights of Lorraine, with, I do remember they had 11 kills in that sally, and then they had a full unit on the back, so looks like they got 80 more kills defending the gate later, but were completely annihilated and taken off the field. And then 733 kills for the Trebuchet. I'm pretty sure this is going to be the unit with the highest kills out of any unit in this game. We'll see if that proves correct. But 733 kills, guys. Certainly a great game for any player with their artillery. So happy to say that you know that happened for the defenders. Too bad it couldn't quite turn the tide of this battle. The next defender, and we can see he has much less troops here. Storm of War, so that is very interesting. Probably just taking very elite units and maybe giving some chevrons to them. His King, the Roi de France, very excellent use of the general here. 234 kills for the Roi de France. And then his foot knights with quite respectable kills all the way through, and every unit contributing 103, 99, and this unit with a good number with 135. for Storm of War. This unit, unfortunately, annihilated without any kills. Again, probably a missile thing, and same with this one. His 14th century pole arms, very expensive unit, just wiped out. His missiles kind of hot and cold. 91 here, 98, so good numbers with perhaps a couple men left at the end of the battle, but only 19 on this unit, and then up to 187, so very good numbers here. So kind of hot and cold on his missiles, a little up and down. Gendarmes, unfortunately, not the greatest numbers here for them, given how expensive and how elite these units are for the 14th century armored gendarmes. 69 kills, that's very disappointing for this unit. 103, that's very good. And kind of in the middle here, 79. His trebuchet was 75 kills, and it was definitely taken out by, at the very beginning, by enemy artillery. I believe Billy the Kid gunned it down. Fenrir as well, putting a lot of money and chevrons into cavalry. His cavalry general here with 41 kills. And his cavalry just, I think, a big mistake and perhaps a costly one at the beginning to leave them outside of the base instead of strike and hit and run, pulling back into the base. He wanted to keep them outside of the base and circle and look for more big charges, but instead he lost all his cavalry. And the numbers here, 23, 10, and 24 for 14th century knights in a higher battle. That is, you want to get more than that out of them. Now he did almost make up for it with a very good game from his trebuchet, 354 kills, so that was very good, but not quite enough to make up for it. His crossbows also with an excellent game, guys. These were the high era crossbows with extra armor. They had 168 kills here and 331 kills, so terrific crossbow game for Fenrir, and a terrific trebuchet game. So really strong on all parts of his army. He just could have had a little more out of these guys here. And it's easy to say coulda, shoulda, woulda, but these are split-second decisions. And when you're up against an all-star team, essentially, of 12 players, it's, the pressure is on, and these decisions are that much harder to make in the short order. And the last defender here, Knox, 54 kills for the Duke of Brabant, his general, 180 for the Knights of Brabant, so very good numbers for his shock infantry, 131 here, and some still alive at the end of the battle. And a little weaker numbers here, 69 kills. Overall, great game for shock infantry. His spearmen, 27, 70, and 69. Not bad. Spears are not going to rack up a ton of kills. His pole arms with 24 kills here and 24 here. Not very good, but sometimes it's tough when they're focus fired by archers. And his infantry here, quite disappointing. I have to say 12 kills, 39, a little better, but only 7 here and back up to 44. So pretty disappointing. I mean, these are units that are wearing 13th century armor, so some of the early units, but they are knights, so they do have elite skills, and they should get a little more kills than this. And his archers also not great. 17 kills here, 28 kills, and only 3 for the crossbow. Trebuchet with 91 kills, so not too bad there. And the Pavi spears here with 36 kills. So that's it for the defenders. Let's move to the attackers now. The victorious attackers, snatching victory from the jaws of defeat here. Bjorn Ironside, of course, with a very, very, very tough game here. Played very well. 61 kills for his general. Now, some of these attackers, again, did lose their general. I think that might have only been Nicaea and maybe one other general. I'm not sure. But Bjorn's general, I'm not sure if he died, but it looks like he's still got a couple men left, and maybe he did survive as well. And he's wearing the early era armor, 61 kills for that general. 267 for this foot knight unit. Amazing numbers for the shock infantry on that unit. But these two here, a little bit weaker, 81 and 89, and they were facing a lot of trebuchet fire. These units all pretty much wiped out by the end of the game. His spears, 52 and 106, very good numbers for a 13th century spear unit. Pikes with 42, so pretty respectable, and 114. So he had very good anti-cav units here that were racking up kills, which is kind of unusual. And obviously hats off for good play there. His infantry too pretty solid here, 59, 26, a little weaker, but he makes up for it with 119 and 61, and then down to 16 again. So again, kind of hot and cold, but overall a pretty decent game for regular sword units. And what really put him over the top was just making sure that every one of his missile units had triple digits in kills, 150, and that whole unit is still alive, or almost all of it. 104, 156, and 157 kills, and these units still alive and ready to rumble at the end of this battle in terms of being able to at least fight it hand to hand. So that really putting his team over the top. He doesn't have any artillery, but his archers combined for a big number of kills. And then his knights, 147 kills here and 73 kills here with perhaps a couple of knights left standing at the end of the battle. So pretty good numbers here. Just an overall solid game as an attacking player for Bjorn Ironside. And then we have Billy the Kid. The Margrave of Moravia, he was still alive at the end of the battle. I do remember him. He has a few men left, and he did score 59 kills too. So very good, and one of those may have been a general kill. So pretty good numbers for the general. His spears, 54, not too good. 71, very good, and 36, not too good. His polearms, though, again, where are these guys getting polearm kills? 127 and 83. So very good numbers on the polearms, which don't typically rack up a ton of kills. And then his infantry, 59, 36, and 96, pretty solid. His missiles here as an attacking player, 43, 76, 66, and 49 on the archers. Not bad. No unit there really, being terrible. No unit standing out until we get to the crossbows. 236 kills. Wow, very good numbers again. And probably what won this game for the attackers is just their number of missile kills that they racked up. Now, on top of that, he had an excellent cav game. 198 kills on this cav unit, 112 and 119. So very good numbers for the cav. And then we have the dogheads, also triple digits, 119 and 131. And he finishes that off with the bombard, which had 72 kills, but I'm pretty sure it wiped out an entire trebuchet crew. Meaning not just the crew, but the actual 4 trebuchets. The constructs were destroyed, and those don't count as kills, but they're invaluable because, as we see, one trebuchet can kill hundreds of men. So this bombard overall with an excellent game too. So I got to say, Billy the Kid brought his A game and really helped push the attackers over the top. Now Litholdis here, the Grand Duke of Lithuania, also scored a general kill. Had looks like at least 2/3 of his unit alive at the end of the game, and with that general kill, 34 kills as well. So very good use of the general, who was wearing 14th century armor. Spearmen a little weaker, 7 kills, 66, 34, and 11. Swords here, 28, 24, 23, and 24, but some of these units still alive at the end of the battle here. And then again, the missiles, putting the attackers over the top. 131 kills for this archer unit, 115, 131 again, 85, and then 204 for this high era 14th century armor wearing crossbow unit. And they're almost all still alive at the end of the game. So still contributing in hand to hand after all that. So just elite numbers on the archers, really no weak spot there on his missiles. Now his cav, 34 kills here, 55 kills here, and 76 kills here. The Lithuanians and the Lithuanian Knights even are just not the greatest cav units, but they did their best. None of them really did terribly. Well, the Deckelheavy cav was not very good, but they still took out enemy cav. So some of those kills pretty big. And this trebuchet only 56 kills. Yes, it's true, but it did take out 3 out of my 4 trebuchets. Now, my trebuchet had excellent numbers, but I mean, if it had 3 more trebuchets to help it out for 2/3 of the game, pretty sure those numbers would have been bigger. So this trebuchet prevented that. So still good use of his trebuchet as an attacker. And that brings us to Nick Omula. Now he was just rushed at the beginning of this game by a swarm of cavalry, and somehow kept his composure, boxed up, protected his missiles, protected his artillery, and survived. And that is what helped the attackers, because it wasn't the 3-on-4 after. They still had that 4th player, and they needed obviously every little thing to win. So him surviving was very, very key in their victory. The Spatheroid Guard, this is the only attacking general that I'm sure that died, or at least they're broken, retreated off the field. 37 kills for him. Couple men probably retreated off the field. I'm not sure if the actual general died or not. And then the Varangian Guard here, very good numbers here, 97. This unit with 0, not sure what happened there, and this unit 53, all of them wiped out. His spears 6, 4, 21, and 31. Now, I remember these numbers are not impressive, but on his side, there were some elite crossbow units there too, along with those dismounted French knights, preventing him from getting in, as well as a few cav, including my own, that had survived. And whenever he tried to break through, they just hammered him and sacrificed himself. So overall, he was up against, he probably had the worst hand dealt to him. He was attacked by cav, and then he was up against just a wall of crossbow bolts and foot knights to try to get in. So I'm not surprised some of these numbers are low, but he survived and he pushed through, and because of that, it was a 4-on-4 and not a 4-on-3, and the attackers managed to pull out the victory. So a big team effort there. 56 kills for this Scudetoi, but kind of disappointing kills for the rest of them. His archers 1 kill, 26, 26, and 57. This Cuman Royal Guard unit with 30 kills, so not bad considering this is a very light unit and it was up against some heavy knights. The Dynatoi here were 2-on-1, from what I recall, 11 kills only. And the Trebuchet was 64 kills. So again, Nikomula probably with not very good stats, all things considered, but if you do keep in mind that he was triple teamed at the beginning of the game and then up against sort of one of the harder walls to scale, overall a good game for him and a great game for the attackers, guys. So thank you all for watching. We'll be back with more battles here with Midnight Games Online and Medieval Siege Battles being the top of the list, guys. So keep your eyes peeled for the next video and have a great night.